sound of quiet meows echoed through the alley, but this time something was terribly wrong. In the dark, a tiny kitten sat, shivering in the cold, all alone, and it seemed like her last hope was slipping away. This is the story of a kitten who went from being abandoned in the cold to finding warmth in the most unexpected place, but not before facing the cruelest of fates. You won't believe how she survived this. Luna, a 3-month-old kitten, had only known the rough streets as her home. Every night she would curl up in an old cardboard box, hoping for just a moment of warmth. But tonight was different. The weather had turned cold, so cold that Luna could barely feel her tiny paws anymore. Her stomach growled and every step felt heavier than the last. She meowed weakly, but no one came. No one ever came. She was starving, freezing, and alone. The once playful kitten was now barely able to stand. What had once been a fight for survival was slowly turning into an inevitable surrender. Would anyone find her before it was too late? As Luna stumbled through the icy streets, she remembered the last bit of kindness she had known. A soft hand that had petted her briefly outside a store weeks ago. It was the closest she had ever come to love, but the person had disappeared just as quickly as they had appeared. With each meow echoing into the empty night, she started to give up hope. Her tiny body began to shut down from the cold. Her breaths grew shallow. This couldn't be the end, could it? Just as Luna was about to give in, she spotted a dim light glowing from a nearby house. She crawled toward it, dragging her weak body inch by inch, her tiny heart beating slower by the second. She collapsed just a few feet away from the door, her last hope fading. It was then, when all seemed lost, that the door opened. A warm pair of hands scooped Luna up gently. She could barely open her eyes, but felt a blanket wrap around her frail body. The warmth was overwhelming, but she didn't know if it was enough to save her. The family inside rushed Luna to the nearest vet, their hearts breaking for this tiny kitten on the verge of death. Every moment felt like an eternity. Would she make it through the night? The vet gave them a grim look. "We'll do everything we can, but it's going to be a long night." They sat by her side, whispering words of encouragement, willing her to fight. Luna lay motionless, barely breathing. But then, as dawn broke, a tiny paw moved, and then another. Her eyes fluttered open just a little, as if to say, "I'm still here." Luna had made it through the night, but her journey wasn't over yet. She was still weak, still fragile, but the family refused to give up on her. Day by day they cared for her, feeding her, keeping her warm, and showing her the kind of love she had never known. Weeks later, Luna was unrecognizable. The once frail kitten was now full of energy, her soft fur shining, her eyes bright. She no longer wandered the cold streets, but instead she had found a forever home with the people who had saved her life. It was as if Luna had always been meant to find them, and in turn they had found something they didn't know they were missing, a tiny kitten who had stolen their hearts. Luna's story is a reminder that even in the darkest times, there is always hope. You never know how close you are to a miracle. If Luna's story touched your heart, make sure to hit that subscribe button. There are so many more stories of love, courage, and hope that you won't want to miss. And remember, every click helps us share more heartwarming tales just like this. See you in the next video!